Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Rise Factor. I am your host, Sarah, and today I have a young man who really stood out to me recently. Recently I was in New Zealand. I attended the PMC conference, and this young man stood on stage, and I was like, wow. The enthusiasm, the energy, the way that he held himself, just some things that he's been doing in this space was just incredible. So I have joining me today Joseph Hickton from Barefoot in New Zealand. Thank you so much for joining the Rise Factor.
Thank you, Sarah. It's great to be with you here.
I love it, and I'm so pleased that you agreed to come on because I feel like you deserve this limelight anyway. Like you deserve this chance to shine, because you are just a great person, and I always am so passionate about having great people on the podcast. So, Joseph, there's probably a lot of BDMs and directors that do not know you. So, who is Joseph?
Okay, Joseph is a young man, married, enthusiastic. I'm 24 years old. I've been married 2.5 years. It also resembles my time in this wonderful world of real estate. I love chess. I love movies. I love music. I love video games as well, even though I don't have much time to play anymore. And I'm big into music. I'm a drummer and also and serve. I'm a drummer at my church and also serve youth and young adults and help them out there as well. So that's if I was to encompass myself in a few sentences, that would be me. And my favorite color is green, and I'm a very keen. I love spearfishing. It's my new addiction and hobby. So yeah, I
Ah,
just love everything outdoors. Love everything people. Love everything culture. And I love food. How can I forget food? I love food.
yes, for sure. What's your
Yeah.
favorite
Oh, fried chicken.
food? Fried
Fried
chicken can't go
chicken.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and
Ah,
I got two French bulldogs recently as well, which has been a crazy addition to my wife and I. That's been wild. So yeah,
how
that's a bit of me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We nearly got a Frenchie, like this is going back 3 years ago. And it was at the time when I was working as a BDM and got a new job and moved house. And I had to pull out because I was just like, I'm just too busy to nurture this like beautiful little puppy. And Frenchies are expensive. But every time I see a Frenchie, it reminds me of our little Aragon was his name was going to be.
Oh
There's this
wow,
cute
love it.
little black one. But he's at a loving home and he's thriving. You know what, Joseph? I just love that some people really struggle with this when I'm like, who are you to not talk about themselves outside of work? And you just pointed out like at least 15 things there that for anyone listening can take and be like, oh my God, I can talk to Joseph about music. And you know what? I wouldn't have pictured you as a drummer. That definitely has surprised me.
Yeah. Oh, and I play keyboard as well.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
a
It's
man
crazy.
of so many talents. Look, Joseph,
Hmm.
like I said earlier, you really impressed me. I mean, you're already impressing me now with like, just all of the things that you do and how much you give back, which I really love that you give back in so many different ways. So, can we talk about your journey into property management and to real estate with Barefoot?
Yes, definitely. So I was working in a restaurant serving, being a waiter. So you're selling alcohol and you're selling food to people. And then I got a call from my best mate's mum saying, "Hey Joseph, I've got a position for you to do stunt work on a TV series they were filming here." So I told my manager there, I said, "This is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm leaving. Sorry." And he said, "All good. Go chase your dream." So I did stunt work on and off for about 3 to 4 months. And then I realized that to pursue a career in acting or in film, it will take 100% dedication. And reflecting on it, I wasn't sure if I wanted to 100% dedicate myself to it versus just get an odd job here and there. So my mate gave me a call, and I started working at Heinz Pipe Systems, selling concrete. And the season had wrapped up. You could just tell it was time for me to move on. And I went door knocking to a few of their real estate agencies, and I went up to Barfoot and Thompson, and I talked to a lovely manager there, and she said, Joseph, the market's tough at the moment, and you're just getting married soon. So how about property management? And I said, I'm open to property management. It's in real estate. I want to do real estate. So I gave a gentleman called Stephen Dello a call, and he gave me the job. I got married, and when I came back, I had a seat waiting for me in the head office.
Amazing. Amazing. And so it's been 2.5 years now, is that right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So what I really loved is just your dedication to your craft. So tell us about your journey so far, the last 2.5 years.
Okay, I started off as we call them cadets. And that's because to get into property management, you need property management experience usually. And how can you get property management experience if you can't do property management? So Barfoot and Thompson said, right, we're going to create a training program to help people learn how to be property managers. So I started off as a cadet at the Barfoot and Thompson Training Academy. And basically you get given a small portfolio there, which is held under the leadership of the head of property management or the head of department who will watch over you. So every email you do, you write it under. You don't sign it off as you sign it off as your manager, and you basically get thrown in the deep end with a life jacket essentially, and you get to see a lot of crazy stuff, and you get to learn a lot of crazy stuff in this crazy world and industry that we're in.
Yeah.
And then you go through this assessment process. And then Stephen's goal is to place you into a branch. So he would wait for the right branch, and he felt he found the right branch for me, which is in the North Shore of Milford. So I came into here and did an interview with my manager Louise and my other manager Henry. And then a month later, I heard I got a new job in December. And then that job was actually I was employed as a property manager, but with an emphasis to grow my portfolio. So I started off with 28 properties, and then over a year or so, I grew it to about 70, and then now we've reshaped my role. We've cut me in half. I've given away about 30 of those 70, and now I'm regrowing again, and each new management I bring on will be passed on to a property manager in the team. So that's kind of how my role started and how it evolved.
Incredible. So there'll be so many directors listening right now because they want to explore more and more like the hybrid role because we have so many great property managers that want to do business development or perhaps don't know how to do business development. Is this something that you naturally just were good at, or did you do like training? Like how did you start getting that phenomenal growth to then get to the point now where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to split my portfolio in half so that you can grow again? How did that come about?
I think it came to a point where it was getting crazy, like managing all these tenancies and then trying to do the numbers, which were my goal. It was getting like from a manpower point of view, unless I was doing 60 hours a week, there's going to be, the ball is going to drop. And I think I had, put myself in after everything we've done, it came to a position like, hey, do we want Joseph to keep bringing in new business, or do we want him just managing, 70 to 80 properties? And then so we decided it would be good for me to get new ones. I guess my sales skills and that side of thing, I would say people say well, you're born as a salesperson, but I think it was a lot of practice and training as well, and learning about different personality types and diving deep and actually reading a lot of books and podcasts and when you get rejected, learning from that rejection how you could improve. So like when I was at the training academy, a lady said, oh, that guy just talks too much. So I went, oh, I need to listen more than talking. So now when I try do a deal, I just try extract as much information out of them so I can help them, and whether we get the deal or not, that's fine. So some people, you refer them to an Airbnb specialist because what they're wanting and what they're needing, I'm not going to be able to help them in that department. So to answer your question, I think it's yes, I can talk and always talked, but it's I never want to reach the top. There's no top for me. I just want to keep learning and keep growing and keep understanding people to more and more than ever before. So that's kind of essentially
I just got goosebumps hearing you speak again because just the dialogue, you can really tell that you've done some research and dedicated time to understand that. Like, under, just the understanding people and human behavior, and if we can actually help them. Like, how do you know if we can actually help someone unless you ask questions? So I really love that in simple terms, you've just, stripped it back. Um, when we were off air, you spoke about goals, and this is like really great timing for this podcast because Rise is actually doing a bit of a reset and planning for 2026. And what you said off air is like, I'm planning now for 2026 for my goals. So I'm a massive believer in setting goals for ourselves. So, what does this process look like for you, Joseph, when planning your goals for next year?
Yes, so I will nominate time off. So last year on my 1 year wedding anniversary, I took 3 weeks off, and my wife and I sat down one day and just like over like 3 hours just writing down our goals, dreams, plans, and like categorize them like family goals, marriage goals, personal goals, church goals, and career goals.
Yeah.
And then so under my career goals, I wrote that down, and then I guess I realized that the career goals I had set for myself, it was nothing's. I would never like to say nothing's impossible, but I think I set expectations too high. So what I did for me in my personal world at work, I'm going to print out my career goals and stick them next to me to be a constant reminder. So it's like make 5 calls every day, and you need to be bringing in at least 1 management a week, and you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. And then so I just look at that, and it would just remind me if I'm on the right path or not. And if I'm achieving my goals, that means that I'm doing well, and I don't need to look at anybody else's goals because these are my goals for me and my train tracks. So yeah, that's kind of how it would work. And if I didn't hit my goals, that's okay as well. So that's what I did. Before I came to Milford, I wrote down, I'm going to get 100 managements. I'm going to do it, and it was too far for where I was at the time, and for my capacity, I guess, and just wasn't happening. So, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's okay. At least you identified that and revisited it and pivoted, and which is, I think, a skill that we need to have when we're in a growth role. I'm curious, Joseph, where
Yeah.
are you getting a lot of your new business opportunities from?
Uh, Cold mostly,
Yeah.
because of the way the business is set up, I guess. Like because it's a family-run business with lots of branches in Auckland, it kind of like if an inbound lead comes in on Google, it like I won't really see that. So a lot of my new leads come from referral partners and cold calling, and
Yeah.
also just networking and getting in front of people and talking about property.
Yeah, I love that. And so, look, there are some people that say like cold calling is dead and it's a waste of time. What would you say to those people who have that perception towards cold calling?
I would say cold calling is a lie, because on my first week, I made a cold call to my first ever client I brought on, and I brought her on in the first week. We have a relationship. I dropped some venison meat to her home, a couple months ago, and we're still looking after her property, and she's really happy with us. So
Yeah.
I don't believe cold calling can be dead,
Mm.
because first week that happened, and we have so, and I've had more from cold calling as well. Cold calling is all about timing, I guess. So it's definitely not a dead thing, and I think
Yeah.
it's something people need to implement in their strategies.
Yes, I love that you just said that because when we look at cold calling, you want to have like your strategy behind it instead of being like, oh, well, I'm just going to make 270 calls a week. It's actually being intentional on who you're calling, when you're calling them, what the value that you're going to bring to that phone conversation, how you're going to understand their goals. There's like so much to unpack. I teach some of my clients to rename cold calling so that when those sessions are in their calendar, they can call it like slay session or conversation
Yeah.
calls or connect calls so that we're, having this already a psychology little hack being like, oh, I'm having my slay session calls today. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool. It brings a new twist to it. I
Yeah.
don't mind. I love the word cold calling, but for people that freak out with that, I think, slay session or like something like that is really, really neat. It puts a positive spin on it. I guess if you go into anything with a negative attitude, it's gonna feel pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, okay, so clearly we have just established, that you are a phenomenal operator. You're a great enthusiasm. One thing that was like, wow, that impressed me on the stage was you learnt Mandarin. You literally learnt Mandarin so that you can communicate with your clients. Like, just phenomenal. So I want you to like talk me through that. Like, how did this come about? Like, what was going through your train of thought where you were like, I'm gonna learn this. I need to learn this. Like, tell me. I want to like get inside your head here.
Okay, my thoughts are very unique.
I love it.
So I'm going to take you to the beginning. I
Yeah.
went to Taiwan in 2018, and it was so amazing to see another side of the world.
Mm.
And speaking or learning Chinese in Taiwan, just saying basic things, I really liked the way Mandarin sounds. Like to speak Chinese in here, it's
Mm.
so satisfying. It's like if you were to speak Spanish, like hola, señor. It's like so fun to say. Same
Yeah.
thing with Chinese, and so that's where I picked it up, and I knew I was getting into real estate, and one of the strong demographics in the real estate market, especially here in Auckland,
Mm.
is Chinese, and being able to understand and connect with them and appreciate them for who they are and their culture and language. I was like, I'd love to learn this and get into their world. So I'm definitely not fluent in Chinese. My colleagues would call me an advanced beginner, and I
Mm.
think it's just enough to break the ice with people, and that's been really amazing because I, doors have been open through that. You go into a building site. And I spoke Chinese to one of the painters there who couldn't speak English, and he gave me the developer's number. And then, a month later, I'm managing that developer's property. So it's,
Incredible.
yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Another thing, I thought my next goal would be Spanish as well because if you can speak English to 2 billion people, that's great. If you learn Chinese, that's another 2 billion people. If you learn Spanish, that's another 2 billion people. You can almost communicate with anyone in the world. So that was my thought at the time. If you learn English, Chinese, and Spanish. So yeah.
Just wow. Like I just love it. I love it.
Cool.
The area that I worked in as a BDM, we had the demographic there was a lot of Chinese demographic and Indian demographic, and I learned like basic words just so that I could at least say hello and yes. That was probably to the
Yeah.
extent. So to hear that, you did that is just incredible. And the how you frame that though is understanding their culture and
Yeah.
that respect for these people and your clients. I just think it's what a big point of difference for you in your marketplace where you can literally say that you are bilingual. Like I think that's incredible and would also be another big shock to a lot of people who would be viewing you externally. Um, we we wanted to touch base on a few things because there are so many distractions out there, and especially for you're 24 years old, you've been in the industry now for 2.5 years. It would be easy for you to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to other people who are further along in their journey.
Yeah.
You could be having some imposter syndrome thoughts like that you're not good enough or you're not experienced enough. There's a heap of things that could come to play. And
Yeah.
then you can also be getting influenced by the distractions on what other people are doing, what other people are saying, where they're showing up. How do you, Joseph, hone that in and be like, no, it's me versus me. I'm on my own journey. I'm doing my own growth. Like, what does that look like for you?
I think I would probably put it to from this is just purely me because and I'll just be real on this. I would be probably with my faith, I guess, and just reminding myself the truth of who I am, and that I don't need to strive or bleed myself to the degree to be in a place where maybe I'm not supposed to be in. And it's, I guess, that constant reminding, like, if you're at work, haven't had a lunch break, and then you pull up Instagram to do some work stuff, and then you're planning to do something, and then you get distracted, and you're seeing all these other people and successful, and like, American real estate. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And then it's like kind of like snapping yourself out of it. It's like, no, wake up! Like, what are you doing? And it's just retuning yourself again. A guitar, when it gets played, after a while you need to retune it, and we're always on, we're always go 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 go. It's also really important to just pause. So I'll bounce ideas off. I'll talk with my wife, talk with people that are mentors and speak into my life, and also write down and journal thoughts as well, just to rehone me, so I'm not shooting off there everywhere. Especially I feel like in my generation and culture, it's like, get into the workforce, abuse them and learn everything for 2 years, and then gap and leave and just, take advantage. And, when you see all those things and that culture's promoted, it's like, I don't know, it can really, really damage what you can or can't do in the future. So I guess it's just about regrounding yourself and what regrounds you. So for other people, that might be going for a hike or a walk or whatever it may be, but for me it's like coming back to the truth and who I am, and with my faith and that kind of stuff.
I so love that. And on that, what would be your advice? Because I'm so big on this. Like I'm more of a spiritual, my faith is more spiritual. Like that's just, I believe that we're all connected and we're all one, and that's what grounds me when looking at, it's not me versus someone else. We're all together and we're all here on this same journey of life. So if people are listening and they perhaps are going, I don't know who I am, I don't have that self-love or that self-confidence, what would be your advice there?
Wow, I would say, like, I don't know, genuinely I'd probably say you need to like look at yourself in the mirror and just fall in love with yourself, not in like a prideful kind of like egotistical crazy way, but just with the acceptance of who you are, and write down what you're really good at, and then just hone in onto that, because each and every single person has a skill, and there are definitely people that are way better than me at what I do, and that's fine. But for me, it's like, I know what I want and I know what I'm good at, and I'm gonna hone into that and not look at X, Y, and Z, even though I may want to. So for people that may not love themselves or anything, I think it's just coming to that place of like looking at themselves in the mirror and just accepting who they are and loving it. So for me, I had to accept this is who I am. I didn't get my dad's height. I'm a bit sad about that because he's taller than me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Self-acceptance, I think that's a great place to start. And that work is probably some of the hardest work that we can ever do. And I think it's so crucial in the BDM space because we are constantly, what's the right word? We're constantly having our energy fields go towards others, like helping others with their investment property. We're, delegating with trades, and there's so much energy that goes outwards. And you definitely need to create that space of that same energy to go towards yourself. Because if you're not feeling that yourself, then that projects outwards as well.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And what does it hurt people, you know?
For sure.
So that's those are my thoughts on that. Just, accepting yourself, loving yourself, and just knowing what you're good at and going in that, because, and that's why the best CEOs are the best CEOs, because they've found people that can do things way better than them,
For sure. Yeah. Okay. There was one thing that you did that went viral. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it, but when you feel like you just need to be doing it. So I know I did a cold call one day and just recorded it and just put it on TikTok, and then next thing I know, it's blown up, and not like blowing up with millions of views, but I got like 40,000 views, and I was just not expecting that at all. So it's like, wow, that's that's pretty cool, and people were so encouraged by it, and I was so humbled by people being so encouraged by someone jumping on the phone and recording it. So I guess now my goal is to be consistent with social
Yeah.
media, because it's not me. I'd be okay just hiding, and just not being out there. But no, I think it's good to get out there and help people. So that's that
Yeah.
was a cool thing. Cold calling with Joseph. That's what I should call it, eh?
Yes, there's this guy. I'll have to send it to you. I share him quite often. I think he's in the UK. He's got an accent. He actually is a cold call trainer, and part of his content is, well, he's cold calling businesses to employ him as a cold call trainer.
Wow.
And he like dresses up, and he's like playing with Jenga and things like that when he's doing his cold calls. And it's just really impressive that, well, that's his job, is like to teach his like other businesses team to cold call. So he has to show up and show him doing the cold calls, right? And I just think that's brilliant. And by you doing that, Joseph, it was raw, it was real, it was authentic, and it's like behind the scenes looking what you do. So again, earlier when you were saying about self acceptance and looking at your skills. Well, one of your skills is obviously the fact that you can get on the phone and have a conversation with people to get to the understanding of what they need and get deals done. Like, I think that's incredible. And now you're just showcasing to people, and let's just say it's inspirational for other BDMs to hopefully want to make those calls and connect with people. So I love it. And I think like you deserve to go viral over that, because a lot of BDMs would be like so hesitant to actually show that process of doing cold calls. So the fact that you've just like, nah, I'm doing it, and it went viral unexpectedly, is even better.
Oh no, that's cool. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's very kind of you. You have to send me that guy. I'll check out
I
his
will. I'll
videos.
send it. You'll love it. All right, Joseph, to finish off, excellence, right? That was one of the things we wanted to cover today, and I think this was great on the back end of my talk that I did at PMC, because it was about elevating that human experience that we're having with our consumers, and our consumers being landlords and tenants. So you said excellence is the encounters that you have with people. Tell us
Yeah.
more about that.
I guess for me, I want to excel in my interactions with people, and I want my encounters with people to be above reproach, like just amazing. Like I want people to that I meet and to meet with, just be like, wow, that was really awesome conversation. Because I don't know, in the past, growing up, seeing my parents get burned by people, and I guess people misunderstanding me and all these kinds of things, I'm like, okay, as a consumer, I'm sick of getting burned and lied to and scammed and ripped off. I want to be able to show people that not all people are going to lie to you, scam you, and burn you and rip you off. So I want to, that's, a big motivation. And me is like, when I meet people, how can I genuinely want to help them and show excellence in that? A landlord was leaving me. She was leaving me, and I tried my very best to keep her on. And just before she left, I said, hey, we're going to do a lease renewal. And then first thing she says is, how much is that costing? And all these kinds of things. And I said, it's actually not costing anything, and we're going to do this out of goodwill so you can guarantee another tenant for a year. And she was kind of shocked initially, but for me, it's like, no, that's normal. That's good customer service. Just because, something doesn't work out, I don't know. You just always give love and give help to people. And if you can't help them, try point them in the right direction to people who will be able to help them. So I just want, like I said, every encounter with people to be great. And if it's not, hey, that's okay. And that's a learning point for next time, So yeah.
Yeah, and I think I definitely believe in the law of attraction. So, what the energy that we put out, we will receive. So by
Yeah.
you genuinely, and like anyone listening, we're talking like genuinely wanting to do the right thing. And I think that goes back to the other things that we've said. It's like when you're looking at your goals, okay, well, why are your goals what they are next year around money, or how many businesses you want to bring in, and then what's your motivation behind that, because then you very quickly identify if you are genuine about helping people, or if you're in it just for a quick dollar and for, a transaction. So when we're talking about these encounters, it's generally wanting to help them on their journey. And I believe, Joseph, I've mentored a lot of BDMs now across Australia and New Zealand, and I still believe that there is a big void here in terms of this excellence. And I say that because I know that we get so fixated in the now, getting the deal now, getting that person now, making the money now. And when we look at that excellence for our clients, they're wanting that longevity. They're wanting
Yeah.
to come on that partnership. They're wanting someone who will understand them, understand their goals, help them towards their goal. And that has to be that genuine piece, which is what you're doing, which is why I wanted you on, because like I said, 2.5 years I've been doing this, 24 years old. And when you stood up on that stage, I was like, more people need to hear from you, Joseph, because the energy, enthusiasm, that care and that excellence that you bring to your craft is just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Very kind. Thank you, Sarah. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, you deserve it. So what's I want to know, what are some things that going forward, because you've gotten to this point now where you're getting some great momentum, you obviously have that opportunity for growth. You did say that, okay, perhaps you want to show up a bit more on socials, but like, can you give us a bit of a teaser into what the next chapter or era of Joseph looks like?
I have no idea. That's what I'm trying to focus on at the moment. And you can get distracted with all these things. So I'm genuinely waiting. I think the moment will just kind of show itself. My big goal in real estate, I'd love to learn all facets of real estate and kind of be an influence in the real estate industry as a whole. So I don't know what the next step looks like, whether it'll be cool to be in the opportunity to like lead a little team of BDMs or something like that. But I don't know anyone in Auckland that does that kind of thing, So I'm just patiently waiting for whatever lies ahead. But in the meantime, I'll just give my 100% to what I'm doing in Milford and in Auckland and the North Shore, and just keep working hard and being grateful for everything that I have. So next chapter, no idea.
I love it. Well, maybe you should join us in the reset for December. Maybe that might open up some opportunities for you. But I really love that you came on and took the time. I think, anyone listening, please make sure you reach out to connect with Joseph. His details will be linked on the podcast. I can't wait to see what you achieve next year. I would love to get you on this same time next year, and joining me for another conversation to see what you get up to.
Wonderful. And Sarah, we'll definitely keep in touch. Thank you so much once again for having me on. It's been a great conversation with you.
Thank you. And for everyone listening in true Sarah Sincotta style, keep rising.